What's up, Friday? Good to see you again. Looking sexy today. I'm Arthur Raw. This is Happy Friday America, dropping on the YouTube channel where we got DCPC and the limited Raw Talk series. That was fun. We might have some more episodes coming there soon, but I'm definitely excited for this one. We have an awesome episode, and I am across the table from my good friend, Kevin Sweetcorn Batstone.
Happy Friday, America, and happy Olympic Friday, guys. It's the first day of the Olympics. Kicking off tonight, all of the action from Paris, France, but we're starting right here in Denver, Colorado, USA. Happy Friday. Let's go, Art.
Let's do this thing. Just a year ago, we used to be Happy Friday Denver, and then we transitioned into Happy Friday America. So that was a year ago. It's been crazy that 12 months has already passed on that, huh, Kev?
Time flies when you're having a good time.
It certainly does. And today in history, July 26th, the U.S. Continental Congress creates the United States Post Office. That was in 1775. 1788, New York becomes the 11th state to ratify the U.S. Constitution. Obviously, an important document getting circulated. 1947, U.S. President Truman signs National Security Act, establishing the Department of Defense, the CIA, National Security Council, and Joint Chiefs of Staff. And then moving forward to random wacky news, 2017, 3 live king cobras reported found inside potato chip cans by customs in Los Angeles airport.
Wow.
That's today in history.
That's a pretty busy day in history. I did not have the cobras in a Pringle can on my bingo card.
No. And look, there's some nuke news out there too, but it's always the same test sites. It's
Repetitive, huh?
You know, so France dropped one today. There was kind of a cool one where the bomb that would end up at Nagasaki, that was like transported to one of the islands near Nagasaki. That happened today.
Interesting.
So there's some kind of nuke news in there too, but we have some presidential stuff coming up.
That is correct. Presidential season is heating up. We got all the news coming your way. Of course, not a very political show, Art, but this is a very funny article. You know, we saw that Joe Biden has dropped out of the race. Kamala Harris is the presumptive replacement. Well, hold your horses, because there just might be another candidate jumping in the ring. That's right. 35-year-old from Texas decided to legally change his name to literally anybody else. That is his name. Right, so this isn't like a who's on second, what's on first kind of deal. He changed his name to literally anybody else. That's his legal name, and he has joined the race. So on the ballot will be Mr. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, obviously RFK Jr., and now literally anybody else will be your choice to vote for, Art. Your thoughts?
I mean, look, a 35-year-old military vet who's a middle school teacher, you know, I feel like they could probably do a pretty good job running the nation. I mean, here's the thing, is I don't think the president really runs the nation anyway. They're just the puppet. They're just the puppet in place. So, you know, I don't know. I feel like Trump kind of doesn't want that, and that's why they don't want Trump, because he's not going to play puppeteer and stuff.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm not too political. I don't really even know enough about politics to have a major opinion about it. But it's interesting nonetheless.
It is.
And maybe literally anybody else would be a better candidate.
It's quite possible. Unfortunately, he did not get the 113,000 signatures required to make it onto the ballot. But that doesn't change the fact that he has announced candidacy. You can write his name in. You can do things like that. Mm-hmm. You know, we'll see if he gets on the Texas ballot. But the fact remains that literally anybody else is running for president.
That dude is fully committed to that joke.
To change your name?
Yeah, legally change your name to literally anybody else. That's really committing to that joke.
Well, what's great about it is he can do a lot of things, right? He's 35-year-old, which is the minimum requirement to be U.S. president. He can now take his name and join other competitions, right? He can be on, you know, brackets and other things as, okay, now we got literally anybody else versus John Smith. I think that's funny.
I would run with it. I might enter into a Smash Bros. Competition with that name.
With literally anyone else?
See what happens.
So do you think it literally is his first name and else is his last name and anybody's his middle name?
Yes.
So he would go by literally else.
Literally else.
Unless it's hyphenated and it's like a double last name, anybody else.
LAE, you got my vote.
LAE, you have the support of...
Actually, I don't know if he has my vote.
You know, I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming he doesn't know jack about politics and probably doesn't have anything to offer the country, but I don't know. I haven't looked too far into his campaign.
I mean, he served this country in
he
the
did
military.
Serve, and I do respect politicians that have served in the military.
Like, I don't think anybody else running right now served.
No. I mean, Kamala Harris was a prosecutor. Obviously, Donald Trump, very successful businessman. And then RFK basically came from a history of the Kennedy family.
Yeah, so they ain't serving.
Yeah. No, I agree. I like the military guys, but pretty funny article. And it just, with this obviously came out when it was going to be Trump Biden. Now we've shaken it up a little bit, and now we have literally anybody else that has joined the race.
Hey, well, there's going to be some high tensions and debates around all that, and there's an ongoing debate that we're going to talk about a little bit today, and that's about what you probably saw. Happy Friday, Americon. Maybe you're using it right now. That's our telephones. And there's a huge split between iPhone users to Android users.
Ongoing battle.
And everybody thinks that their platform is better. I'm going to sit here and say I'm neutral on it. I'm kind of cool either way. I know, Kevin, you used to probably have a higher Android side preference, but now that you've been using the iPads for your iPad for your day job,
yeah,
like I think you might think Apple is a little bit cooler than you used to.
I'll give it some points in that regard, but I do not think it's better than Android.
Okay. So that's fine. That's fine. So I was kind of looking at a bunch of different articles on this because there's a bunch of them. And I'll kind of sum up my overall thoughts here. But there were some things that I want to go through purchasing behavior differences between iPhone to Android users. So in-app purchases, iPhone users have a higher propensity for in-app purchases. And then generally Android users are more conservative with in-app spending. Upfront costs, iPhone users more willing to pay for apps up front. Android, they prefer free apps with the ads, things of that nature. Subscription services, iPhone users are more likely to pay for premium services opposed to the Android services. So there's a bunch of stats that I put through here, but in a lot of these articles, they were stating that in general, people with a higher income, families of higher income, people of that demographic are using iPhones. So more iPhone users are a little bit wealthier. However, Android users have a bigger user base globally than iPhone users. They were also saying that the iPhone users are more likely to have additional purchases, like they bought a lot more, and then also there was a lot more messaging and things like that from iPhone users. So they were in general just using their phone, what it seemed like, more than Android users. So obviously there's a lot of different peer-reviewed studies on this and that, and which is true, I don't know, but iPhone versus Android, the battle goes on.
Look, this is going to be a Ford Chevy thing forever. You're either on one side or the other. I got a good buddy, well, we do, in our group, Mark. We've called him out many times in this program and probably will continue to. This is a guy that has basically everything he used to stand for, he no longer stands for, and he's completely switched on everything from politics to vehicles to phones, and this being one of them. Mark was the guy that kind of paved the way of, I suck, but I act like I'm better than you, which is the thing for Apple. He's the one that taught me that, and I still stand behind it today. Okay. Apple makes good product, but they do act like they're better than Android, and they have all these secret chargers and secret fucking things that you have to use to put your 3mm, headphones and shit.
Yeah.
You have to buy specific things for Apple.
To use accessories.
Accessories to use accessories, probably the best way to describe it. Whereas Android, the same charger that charges your dildo or your vibrator, you can also charge your cell phone with, but you can't do that with Apple.
No, but I believe that there was overruling globally where the European Union kind of led this charge, and then moving forward, all Apple products have to use the C.
But they haven't yet. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so that's what I've heard.
Okay, I hope that's true.
That's something that's it's been in politics, and they're like, you guys got to uniform this.
That'd be interesting, because Apple's a corporation that can do whatever they want. They're a private company. They don't have to do anything. But they would gain more market share and respect, I think, if they had universal chargers and shit. But outside of that, all that aside, Apple, they have their place, right? Steve Jobs built a tremendous company. The Macintosh computers, all that. It's good equipment. There's no way I can sit here and say that the product sucks. It really comes down to personal preference. Android, Apple's been running on the fact that they can't get viruses and all this shit for a long time. And that might be true. I don't know how true that is.
Well, it's because they own most of the software that's on their hardware.
Sure.
So there's less room for infiltration.
That's fair. Android, I feel like, is a friendlier, easier, more customizable way for your personal cell phone. just from my experience. Using an iPad, I haven't had an iPhone per se, but the folks that do have it, like when someone hands me their iPhone, like, here, check this out, I immediately fuck something up, right? Trying to find an image on there, trying to share something, attach things. And I understand there's a learning curve to all of it, but for me, I'm going to stick with the Android side. I just feel like it's a better consumer product.
Okay. And you know what? We might have a Would You Rather on that later.
That's interesting.
You know, so we'll be circling back around that, but you know, personally for me back in the days, it was like I wanted the iMac for Logic Studios for music production, but then in most office spaces and corporate structure for technology, they're all using Microsoft, which ties into Android better.
It does, and we all saw what happened. If you have any stock in CrowdStrike, which I certainly do, we got fucked in the ass royally last Happy Friday when it all went down. Crashed. We saw airplanes not being able to go live. We saw banks. So there is argument to make there that if that had happened under Apple, would the same result have happened? Microsoft took one in the nuts there.
Yeah. No, it's wild out there. And what else is wild is Kevin's random records. Did we have a David Rush this week?
David Rush has tied Sylvia Saba, and he has put it down.
What do you mean he put it down?
He's not doing anything. I'm not saying he's not going to, but we have no updates on David Rush.
That would be. I would be so disappointed if he just stopped right there.
I think he's just taking a breather. You know, he's appreciating that he's tied the man.
I think he needs to keep going.
I agree.
He doesn't have room to breathe right now.
David Rush is going to beat Sylvia Saba, but he's enjoying being tied. So this week,
Nigerian twerkers?
We have Nigerian twerkers this week, guys. Okay, this is wild, and I really like this guy's name. Okay, I'm going to start with his name. It is Babajide Adibanjo. Okay, he is a Nigerian man that twerked for 3 hours and 30 minutes to beat the world record.
Okay.
I don't know how to twerk. It probably wouldn't look good if I did, but I have respect for people that do. Now, it's pretty physically demanding to twerk, right? You're working a lot of muscles. It's like dancing, but aggressive.
One of my ex-girlfriends hurt her back when she was trying to twerk.
So there you go. There's a lot of physical risk involved with twerking. This isn't a waltz or a two-step. This is shaking your booty. This is Jimmy and your Johnson.
It's like popping that ass.
Yeah, and as a man, you know, you're going to have your penis or your schlingelschlonger flopping around while you're twerking, right?
Yeah.
It's sexual dancing.
Yes.
It's not quite salsa dancing. It's
that's sexual too, though.
Salsa is sexual.
Isn't any dancing?
Yeah. Salsa is a little bit sexier. Twerking, though, is straight fucking on the dance floor.
What kind of dancing isn't sexual?
Probably, you know, like a father-daughter dance at a wedding.
Yeah.
Because that's like a thing, right?
But, like, you do that same dance with your, like, wife, and then it's romantic.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's sexual. That's just slow dancing. That's nice.
Okay.
You know, twerking is very sexual, right? You're basically humping. You're fucking the air. You are air fucking on the dance floor.
Okay.
Right? Twerking. And so this gentleman here, once again, Babajide Adibanjo, what a great name, did it for 3 hours, 30 minutes. He now holds the world record. He's a TikToker, so you can find him over there, I think, under that same name, Adibanjo, over on TikTok. He does dancing. He does cool stuff. But he holds the record now. So what do you think, America? Do you think you could twerk for 3 hours and 30 minutes? I don't even know if I could twerk for 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. I was not expecting a man to hold this record. I honestly, I was expecting it to be of the gender of a female.
He took him.
You know, so props to that. You know, he probably has amazing legs and glute. Like, I would like to think, like, what he was doing was worth it. It was, like, worth watching for 3 hours. Hopefully, his booty was in good enough shape where it was worth watching for 3 hours for anybody who attended that world record breaking event.
I'm sure.
Did you see a video of it? Was he thick?
I did not see the video. There is a link to it below. I don't know if it's going to take you to the video. I just read the article.
Okay.
And I got excited because of his name, and that's why it made my random records this week.
Okay. Now that's a good one. That's a fun one. I wasn't expecting twerking. And Rush, where you at, man? You've been hitting this show for weeks, and now all of a sudden you hit the record, and now you're stepping out. Like, what is that?
David Rush will be back.
Come on, Rush. And then we're moving into the Would You Rather next. And first, we got to recap last week's.
All right, so we're going back to last week. Everyone knows Twitter X, Happy Fry USA. You can take the poll or just drop a comment down below. Take it old school. Last week, we asked America, would you rather never be tired again or never be hungry again? Art, I think you and I went unanimously last week on not being tired. America agrees.
No tired.
67% of America does not want to be tired. 33% doesn't want to be hungry.
Okay.
And I think it lines up with what we said last week. You know, I enjoy eating. Hunger can sometimes be a nuisance, but I would rather not be tired. It's a good one.
So, yeah, I think that was a fun one. It was a fun one, and thank you, America, for being on our side there. This week, it's very similar to kind of what I was talking about article previous, except for it's not just the phones. So, would you rather only be able to use Apple products in your house? So it's like you have to have all the iPhone, all the iMacs, and like you can only use Apple products, or you could only use like more Android open source, like Microsoft type of stuff. So you going full Apple, or you going Microsoft? What's it gonna be?
Well, I think based on what I said earlier about Apple versus Android and Microsoft, I just personally enjoy Microsoft better. I like the operating system. You know, the equipment I feel like is pretty even. I don't see a real clear advantage here. I know Apple people are going to come at me and say Apple's way better. I deal with it all the time. All right, most of my friends are on Apples when we really break it down, and folks that I work with, they're like, "Oh, Apple's way better." I don't care what they think. I'm taking Microsoft. I'm sticking with Android.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the opposite here. I'm ditching my Android. I'm going full Apple across the board. I'm buying in. I'm gonna go ahead and use their proprietary software with their proprietary hardware, and I'm biting into the Macintosh, baby.
Is that effective immediately? Are you going to give up your Android and go Apple iPhone tomorrow? And
absolutely not.
Get rid of Gloria here.
No,
nice Microsoft.
It's only if like I had to do the would you rather, I would go straight Apple. I would go straight Mac. Macintosh,
it's a nice product
across the board, computers, like everything, Apple TV, like it's all sleek. You know, I'm because look, I'm all about getting out of my comfort zones and trying change in life. So with this technology thing, I would completely change my tech and just go ahead and adopt that. I've used Apple products before. They're not bad.
They make good shit.
You know, and I feel like there is less viruses and things of that nature on there too. There's better like virus control.
Yeah.
But I don't know, America. What do you think? Are you going full Apple or are you going full Android / Microsoft?
Let us know over there on Twitter or in the comments below. All right, let's keep moving. This is the article of the week. This is possibly the article of all time. This is just a great read here. So let's kick this thing off. So there was a German scientist by the name of Dr. Karen Weatherby, and this is a long article, so I would encourage the viewers to go down and read it yourselves if you find this interesting. I certainly did. Art, we've been talking about this since I put this in the script earlier this week.
And before, like we've kind of been knowing about this for years.
Yeah, this is important, and some women might, I don't want to say get offended by it, but they might just it gives in their eyes like an opinion as to why men are grotesque pigs. But here's the deal. We have some science to really back this. So 500 men were involved in this study, okay? And basically what we learned is that touching and staring at women's breasts make men live longer. So really what that means is it's kind of a calming thing is what we've learned out of this study.
Okay.
About 10 minutes a day for men that stare at women's breasts, get to touch them, whatever, has dramatically shown improvement to their cardiovascular health, lower heart rate, better blood pressure, better circulation. This is over time, of course, of 10 minutes a day. Now, it kind of goes...
So it's 10 minutes a day.
10 minutes a day
okay.
is what the study showed,
okay.
which is enough evidence to concur that if these individuals, they did a before and after on their blood pressure and stuff, showed results, showed improvement, then naturally, if you can reduce that, you're going to increase your chances of living longer.
Now, do the breasts need to be like in the same room, or like if you are watching videos online, does that count?
That's a good question. I would assume it needs to be live action, right? So they say like when you give somebody a hug or you receive a hug, your heart rate drops and your anxiety level should subside, right? Unless you're having there's mass chaos going on. But hugging, they have proven, has shown similar results.
Okay.
Right? So there is some sort of science to it. So men, right, this is primal shit. This is mythical, old school shit.
Yeah.
Going back to the basics.
You're not worried about the bills. You're not worried about, what's happening at work. All you're doing is just appreciating the breasts.
Breasts are amazing, right? I remember John Ekstrom when he was on Happy Friday Denver. Free the nip, take the tit out. Remember there was some place that was doing topless day. Look, breasts are amazing. We see, women doing breastfeeding all over. I support it, okay? Stop. People are too uptight about it. Let the damn women breastfeed. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't.
But
this
no
is
blanket.
Natural.
But no blanket.
I mean, we got to work with what you got. Ideally, try to make it as convenient as you can for the others. But I don't have a problem with it. Okay, this is natural shit.
I mean, if you're openly breastfeeding without a blanket in public, just expect people to look at your boobs.
Yeah, they're gonna gawk at you.
And don't get offended by it. Like, who cares?
It is natural though. We're talking about this primal, mythical shit. Breastfeeding goes way back. Proven to help men's health. So titty time, all right, hashtag titty time is very important for men's
I can support this movement.
health.
And it doesn't even have to get sexual. Here's the thing: is
Right,
like
exactly.
you can appreciate breasts without sexualizing it.
Yep.
Like you can just enjoy it, like happy to be within its presence. You know, it's just like when you enjoy a beautiful view, like a vista, and you're like on the top of a mountain,
Yep.
and you're looking at other mountains on the horizon. And you're like, wow, those mountains are so beautiful. If I could just take a moment and really soak this in. That's what I would compare it to.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's obviously enjoying the beauty of women, because who's kidding who? Women are very beautiful.
Yes.
It's been that way since day one, since Adam and Eve, if you believe that, or just the way that humans ended up here. One thing that has never changed is that breasts are fantastic.
Who'd have thought one of my ribs would make a creature completely more gorgeous than myself?
You know, never thought of it that way. Just fortunate that it is the way it is. So for all you men out there and for women with your voluptuous breasts, hey, all sizes are accepted here, guys. They come in all sizes and packages, colors, you name it. Free the tit, free the nip, help the men live longer.
Yes, I can support this movement, and I'm curious, like, what would be the contrast? Is there anything that a man has? Is it like our arm? Is it like our arm, or like is there anything that we have that is comparable to reduce stress levels in a woman just by her like touching or like looking at? Is there anything comparable, I wonder?
I'm sure there is. We'd have to do another market research here
Mm-hmm.
and take that to the market. But I would imagine, I mean, just speaking from personal experience, like a man's hands.
Okay. Women do like man hands.
I've received that a lot because I got big hands.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's going to have the same effect that the breasts do. Because, I mean, who's kidding who? Men's genitalia is not the greatest thing to look at.
No. I mean, it could be, distorted, too. Carrot penis is what do they call it?
Oh, the bent carrot.
The bent carrot.
For all the men out there dealing with that, there is treatment for that. Perion's disease?
Bent carrot disease.
It's where their penis is going the other way, that it's not supposed to go. So that's probably not the best to look at. But just in general, I don't think the penis is a great scenery.
It can't be like, unless if they really appreciate a big belly. Like, we don't know what they actually appreciate.
It's not super unique, though, because women can have big bellies as well.
That's true.
I don't know. That's a good one. Ladies, all the female
Maybe
viewers.
it's the love handle.
It's still that's not that unique, though.
Yeah. If throw a comment if you're a female, what is something meditative on a man physically that you could look at and feel like it reduces your stress levels? We'd be really curious to hear about that.
It's got to be the beard.
It might be the beard. I mean, that's makeup for men. That's real, but makeup's fake, so the beard's real.
The beard's real.
So it's not makeup for men if it's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
This is no fake news.
Yeah. So, moving forward, marijuana is an amazing substance, and it has many different properties, and CBD is something that is derived from hemp and the marijuana plant, and CBD has also shown many amazing properties to help heal, reduce stress, things of this nature as well. There was a study done where they're checking to see if CBD oil can help reduce UV effects from sun rays. It was a really small test group, only 19 people, so that's really not too significant. But how they were testing this is they would put CBD lotion on one buttocks and then keep the other buttocks clean.
Interesting.
And what they realized is after 14 days of doing this, that the UV radiation on the bun with the lotion applied had less
What you call it, a bun?
A bun.
Okay.
One of the buns.
Got it.
Had less radiation damage, aka kind of turning red, things of that nature. So this is a very small study. The experts say that you can't replace sunscreen with CBD lotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not there with it. But I just thought this was an interesting one to kind of just bring this up as a talking point because, cancer patients, like they're like, hey, smoke some marijuana. It's going to ease your pain. It's going to make your quality of life better. And then we have CBD, which comes out of that too. So it's like there's all these healing factors to cannabis usage. Mm-hmm. And so that alone as a subject is really interesting to me.
I would agree. I mean, we've learned a lot about CBD over the last few years, especially with legalization, and we're able to perform studies with it. I think people are turned away from CBD because they're not experiencing the euphoric high that smoking marijuana or eating cannabis can give. And I think that's unfortunate because there is a lot of medicinal purposes that come out of this plant. CBD being one of them, but they're not getting that dopamine. They're not getting that instant gratification that people want and crave. So stuff like this is a great study because it shows this is truly the medicinal side, if you ask me, of what CBD is capable of. I was reading a study earlier this week, didn't make the script, about sunscreen, copper tone, all of these, these things that we use as kids in the 80s and the 90s is directly linking to skin cancer now. Doesn't really surprise me when you look at the chemicals that we put on our skin, whether it's lotion, whether that's sunblock, whether it's the detergents that men use in the shower. Those shower gels are basically detergents, chemicals for the skin. Body doesn't like it, guys. Both my parents in the last 30 days, both mom and dad, have had skin cancer removed from their face in a 30-day window. It's crazy. Skin cancer is rampant right now. So if you can find an alternative like this CBD lotion, a CBD cream, whatever it is, to protect against the UV, I'm behind it.
I'm not trying to put anybody in any categories or anything, but look, the Asians, like, they don't really go into the sun much, and their skin stays super youthful. Like,
is that true though?
I've noticed this, and it's a cultural thing that they always have the umbrellas. They're staying shaded. If you look at Asian skin, like it's not as aged as Caucasian skin or people who are out in the sun all the time their whole lives. Like, they stay looking youthful. And I think that's probably the best way to do it is not
stay out of the sun.
Yeah, is not be so vain to need to have a tan. And look, I'm being hypocritical by saying that. I was laying out in the sun a little bit today trying to get a little base tan going. That is very surface level. And really, if I'm looking for long-term health, like, you just stay out of the sun.
This is definitely a Caucasian issue, I feel like, with the tanning. Well, think about it. I have a lot of African-American friends that look fantastic. They work outdoors all day long, doing whatever, road construction, whatever they do. They're outside, burning up in the Phoenix heat, the Texas heat, here in Denver, and they're in their 50s, 60s. They look like they're still my age. So the African-American community has it figured out as far as that goes. I don't see them using sunscreen.
Yeah. And, like, I saw this one myth of, like, if you had a darker skin complexion and you use sunscreen, then it, like, stays white on you. No, it doesn't. It soaks into your skin. Like,
yeah, it's the oils on your skin, I think that.
Yeah, but, like, going back to what you're saying, like, I don't like using sunscreen and stuff because, like, what is in the sunscreen? Like, my skin will absorb and soak all that in.
Yeah.
Like, what is in that actually?
I've never liked sunscreen. You look back at pictures of me in the last 15 years, I'm burnt as shit. My face will get wrecked when I go outdoors. And it's like, whatever. I'd rather suffer through it than put the chemicals on. I don't like the chemicals.
Yeah, the chemicals are no good. But CBD, medicinal properties to cannabis, amazing. Who knows how far it will go. My biggest fear with it all is that the corporate greedy fingers get tied up into the mix and start convoluting what is actually naturally a healthy thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to fuck it up.
Yeah, I believe beeswax is probably a better UV repellent or UV sunscreen than this other nonsense.
Beeswax?
Yeah, I do. Well, think about Burt's Bees, like the chapstick that I use. It's natural UV protection in it. It's made from beeswax.
Huh.
I think we got to tap into the beeswax market, guys. It's for sunscreen.
Okay. Here we go.
That might be it.
So if you're out playing soccer, you're probably going to be wanting to do some sort of sun protection.
Yes. This is a very interesting article that I found. I love sports, so this one made it in. All right. So we had a soccer game, pro soccer game, that was put on suspension because the patrons and the fans in the stands were launching fish cakes onto the field. It was raining fish, Art.
Fish cakes?
Yeah.
It's like a crab cake.
It kind of, or it could be like what you'd make a fish sandwich with.
Okay.
Those flat fishes. I mean, they were whipping them out there. Okay. And this took place last weekend. Now, the reason that they were doing this is it was a, kind of a rebellious act against the video assistant referee.
Okay.
This is new technology that's been introduced. I don't know if this is a FIFA organized thing, if this is who brought in the VAR. They call that's the acronym for it, the video assisting referee. I get it. I would protest it too. I don't necessarily think I'd be throwing fish cakes on the field. I don't like AI coming in, not even AI, just bringing in computers and taking away the man's refereeing, right? Baseball, Major League Baseball is rumored to do this. They're going to start talking about bringing in electronic strike zone. Don't like it. I want the guy out there going, ball, strike, you're out.
Yeah.
Same thing here in soccer. Now you've got video assisting referees. This is taking the man out of the game, right? Let him make the strike or ball call on the field. Let him make the penalty call on the field. Same with football, right? I understand football is actually, they've scrutinized the shit out of that with the assisted replays in New York, and they overturn it and this and that. But that's been going on football for a while.
Yeah.
So the whole point of this was to basically rebel against, to protest the video-assisted referee. Did it work? I don't know, but they had to cancel the game, Art. They did not complete the game.
VAR.
Yep.
I mean, it's just kind of like they're going to keep pushing this and pushing this and pushing it and see how far they can go with it. And honestly, I think we need events like this to happen to where it's like, okay, people just don't like this. Like, maybe we shouldn't be, like, taking away the human element. Like, why are we trying to take away the human element in human sports?
Right.
Like, it's kind of doesn't really make sense. And, like, part of the sport, part of the fun is, like, arguing with the referee, like, no, it didn't happen. And now they're like, well, what'd the computer say?
Exactly.
And then what if the computer's wrong? Then are you going to argue against the computer?
It's the same kind of nonsense that we see that goes on because, when people are arguing, well, let me go to imright.com or trustmebro.org, right? Everyone's got that instant go-to rather than just let us scrap it out on the field. Let's keep it old school. I really hope baseball doesn't do this. And from the player's perspective, I've heard a 50-50, right? Because if it goes your way, you're like, well, yeah, the video-assisted referee helped me on that one, or it can screw you over. I don't like it. Get rid of the VAR. Protest successful. They had to suspend the game, could not finish. But I do not agree with launching things onto the field. You're better than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. Have you seen what they're doing with like what AI can do with like just mugshots now?
It scares me.
So it's like they could just take a still picture and like make it like eat or drink a beer and it looks somewhat legit.
I don't like it.
Like if you didn't have like somewhat of a trained eye, like there was like this thing that popped up where it was Joe Rogan talking about something and I was like looking at it and I was like, dude, this is fake. It's not even real. And it sounds like him and it almost looks like he's really talking.
There's a lot of those going around with those online casinos.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is on it. There's like Fox News contributors that are saying like you got to sign up for this.
Yeah.
You got to be careful out there, people.
Yeah, it's really crazy right now. Like Kevin and I might not actually be on YouTube right now, and this could just all be fake.
This is all deep fake right now.
This could all just
Kevin's
be
actually on vacation.
Faked. Yeah, Kevin's not even here. Arthur's in Sweden right now.
It's unreal.
It's wild.
It's unreal.
So, yeah, cool stuff to do this weekend. I mean, it's a crazy world we live in, man. What a wacky Friday, but it's so much fun. Regardless, Cincinnati Music Fest coming up, Cincinnati, Ohio. That starts tomorrow. Definitely going to be a good spread out there. And then going down to Louisville, Kentucky, they got the Street Food Festival Saturday, Sunday.
That's right. We got to love the food festivals. We're getting to that time of year where the food and wine festivals are getting ready to start kicking up again.
I got to go to one of those soon.
The state fairs are starting to happen. There's some state fairs going on out there in Ohio. Ohio's a busy place. Columbus, Ohio, we got the fairs going on. NASCAR is on the mid-season break, guys. We have the Olympics going on. So no NASCAR for 3 weeks. That gives me a little bit of time off, which I'm excited about. NHRA, the old National Hot Rod Association, there is some racing, Sonoma, California, all weekend long. If you're out there in wine country, go watch these amazing machines rip down the track. John Force is getting better by the day. He is out of ICU. He's returned home, so we're thinking of him. And, of course, the Olympics are going on all weekend, guys. So
that's going to be fun.
A lot to do. The weather's great. It's the final Friday of July. Can't believe it, Art. We're moving on to August. We're coming up on the one-year anniversary of Happy Friday America.
That's nuts.
Been doing this a year.
That's
hard to believe. And so, thanks for all the support for the last year, guys. Follow us on the social medias, Instagram and Facebook at Happy Friday USA, Twitter X, where you can take the polls, see the promo clips over there at Happy Fry USA, or you can send us an email if you're old school, if you still use that kind of stuff, happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. Let's get the weekend started right. Time to party it. Bring it in, Fricashinas. We'll see you next week.